Hello, we are live after some technical difficulties. I thought maybe today was third time's a charm, but it doesn't look like that. So on my end, things look good. Whoops, things look like they are working. So let's just get into it. My name is Jennifer Nascimento, and I'm the founder and teacher at English Outside the Box. You can learn more about me, more about my live lessons, things that I teach, this looks a little better, and more on my website at EnglishOutsideTheBox.com. These live lessons happen every Saturday at 14:30 UTC. The best way to find out what time that is for you is looking at worldtimebuddy.com. So what we're going to talk about today are idioms. We're talking about idioms today, and idioms are so helpful for your everyday English skills. Now remember, I help you, English learners, master their everyday English skills so you can travel, live, and work a little more comfortably with a higher fluency. Idioms are a huge part of conversation and speaking. If you work in an English-speaking country, you will definitely hear these around the office or with friends. You'll hear them when you travel. You'll hear them when you watch TV and movies, so they are everywhere. Unfortunately, it's the season of being sick. It's the season of being sick. So today we're talking about idioms related to sickness. And we're talking about idioms related to sickness because, I'm feeling a little under the weather, if you will. A lot of people get sick as a dog around this time. They have splitting headaches. They puke their guts out. And these are all some of the idioms we're going to be talking about today. And unfortunately, sometimes things take a turn for the worst. So if you're joining the live stream in the chat, let me know where you are saying hello from. Let me know let me know your name, if your screen name or your name doesn't have, if it's not obvious, because sometimes names are like P.673989, and I don't know who that is. So say hello, say your name, and say where you are from. I also want to know how you're feeling today. We're talking about idioms related to sickness, and I want to know how you're feeling today. So if you're joining me live, you can write a couple of sentences in the chat. If you're watching the replay on the blog lesson later, you can pause the video and just take a minute to write down how you feel, practicing using the language. Okay, let me just pop into this chat here. We have Cosette, Dora, Morocco, Middle East, Louise is back, Vietnam. Awesome. So we have a good group already joining us today. So idioms related to being sick. Now, as I mentioned, right now, I'm feeling a little under the weather. I have a stuffy nose, which means my nose is full of stuff, of snot. And when you have a stuffy nose, it's when you can't really breathe. Another word is congested. So not only are we going to learn idioms related to sickness, we're also going to talk a little bit about health vocabulary. Sometimes when you're sick, you have different symptoms. Symptoms are those signs, are those things that happen to your body that tell you that you are sick. So I just mentioned I have a stuffy nose. Sometimes you can have a sore throat. Now remember, this part of your body is a neck, but inside, in this part right here, is your throat. So when you have a sore throat, it's when your throat hurts a little bit. It has pain. I don't have a sore throat, luckily, so that's good, but it's something that you might experience. That adjective, or sore, right? To be sore, S-O-R-E, means to have pain. To have pain. Hope you recover soon. I'll be okay. I'm taking my immunity drink. So sore, S-O-R-E, can talk about throat. You can also have a sore body when your muscles kind of hurt and they ache. If you have the flu or even after you do a workout, you use the adjective sore to describe that pain you feel in your body. A good question in the chat, do I have a runny nose? Runny as in R-U-N-N-Y. Runny is when the stuff in your nose comes out. And luckily, I do not have a runny nose. It's just stuffed up there. Other symptoms you can have when you are not feeling well, when you're under the weather, is a cough. A cough is when you have to expel air or maybe something in your throat. You can also sneeze. Okay, that's a sneeze. And those are really common symptoms. Another common symptom is as a headache. And a way to describe a very, very bad headache is a splitting headache. A splitting headache. Let's do a little pronunciation challenge and a dictation exercise with that word. So if I have a splitting headache, how would I write that word splitting? What do you hear? What do you recognize? How would you spell the word splitting headache? If you're in the chat live, comment in the chat live. If you are watching the replay, take a minute to write it down and try to answer the question yourself. And then I'm going to give the answer in a minute. I want to give you time to think, and I want to give you time to answer. So again, if I say I have a splitting headache, that means I have a very bad headache, a lot of pain in my head. It can be pain in the front, it can be pain in the back, or it can just be pain all over your head. A headache is when you have pain in your head. If I have a splitting headache, I have a very bad headache. How do I spell splitting? And let's check the chat. So we have splitting. Woohoo! Eduardo, you're so good because you wrote it a couple times. Louise, you got it. And Dora, you got it. And Buhorma, you got it. So very, very good. All of you recognize that even though the word sounds like splitting, it sounds like there's a D, but all of you in the live chat anyways wrote it with a T, okay? You wrote it with a T. S-P-L-I-T-T-I-N-G. Splitting is how it looks. But as you know, I am an American English teacher, so I focus on teaching American pronunciation, American idioms, slang, and language. And splitting is a great example of the American T sound. That American T is crazy. It never knows what it wants to do. Sometimes it's a T, sometimes it's a D, sometimes it's an N, sometimes it's nothing. It is crazy, okay? This is an example of it being a D because it comes in between two vowel sounds. Split, is a vowel sound. Splitting, the I and ing is also a vowel sound. When a T comes in between two vowel sounds, in American English, it sounds like a D. Great. So getting back into the chat here, some other common symptoms are a fever. A fever is when you have a high temperature. I'm pointing to my head, but it's when your body has a high temperature. In Fahrenheit, the average temperature, the ideal healthy temperature is 98.6 degrees, okay? When that's higher, you have a fever. Yesterday on my Instagram, I also gave another word that we can use to describe a fever. I can say, I have a fever, or I have a, and let's see how many of you know what I posted on Instagram yesterday, and I will come back to that answer. So another word for fever is, let me know in the chat or write it down and we can check it in a minute. Another common symptom is migraine, as Luis Antonio Suarez said. A migraine is a very, 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 very bad headache. It's its own sickness in itself, though. A migraine is something that you go to the doctor for specifically, you get medicine for specifically, you get treatment for specifically. So a migraine is a very severe headache, and it usually affects your vision, what you see. You usually have to have a very dark room, and there's a lot of, sometimes it can be so bad it makes you nauseous. It makes your stomach queasy. It makes your stomach uncomfortable. So that's a migraine. A headache is a little lighter. It's still pain in your head, but it's a little lighter, and it's just a symptom of the cold or the flu. So another word for fever is what I'm looking for. Another word for fever is something else, okay? And I posted it on my Instagram yesterday. So who's looking at Instagram? All right. So we've reviewed already a lot in this live lesson so far. We've talked about to be under the weather. When you are under the weather, like I am under the weather, it means that we're sick and we're not well. We have some kind of illness. Instead of the verb to be in front of under the weather, you can also use look or feel. You look under the weather. Or do you feel under the weather? And those are ways to describe looking or looking not well or feeling not well. So you can say, I am under the weather, I am sick. I feel under the weather, I feel sick. Or I look under the weather, I look sick. I mentioned the idiom to be sick as a dog. To be sick as a dog is when you are really, really sick. So often in English, we have a comparison or a simile with an animal. The opposite is healthy as a horse. I'm healthy as a horse. I'm sick as a dog. And that means you're very, very sick. Popping back into the chat means coming back quickly into the chat. Everyone, superstars, you see what it is, temperature. You can use the noun temperature to also mean you have a fever. I have a fever, I have a temperature. Great job, great job. Louise and Eduardo mentioned feeling blue. Feeling blue is different. It's an idiom. It's not an idiom necessarily about being sick. If I ask you, hey, are you blue? Are you feeling blue? What am I asking you? Okay, what am I asking you? I like to give you guys time to think about my questions and to answer my questions to hopefully help you remember them a little bit more. So if I ask you the question, why are you blue? Are you blue? Are you feeling blue? What does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? And I'm going to give you guys time to write it down. Another idiom expression we learned today was splitting headache. Remember, that's an extremely bad headache. Sometimes another symptom of the flu, sometimes a symptom when your head hurts so bad is it causes you to, okay, and what does that mean? Right, it means to vomit or to throw up. There is an expression, an idiom, to puke one's guts out, okay? Guts are the insides of your stomach, the insides of your body. So your guts are what's inside your stomach. If you puke your guts out, obviously this is an idiom, not to be taken literal. It means that you throw up or you vomit a lot. You know that with idioms, we use a lot of exaggerated language. So to puke one's guts out means to vomit a lot. I puked my guts out last night. I didn't, but just an example. I can form a question. When's the last time you puked your guts out? Have you ever puked your guts out? Good. And that's the fourth idiom today. Popping back in the chat, feeling blue, yes, means you are feeling sad. Great job. Why are you blue means, are you in a bad mood? Yes, it can be. It means, are you sad? It can be depressed. Yes. Great job, everybody. So you can see that when you're feeling blue, it means that you're sad. It could be even stronger. You're depressed. So it's not really related to the sickness or the illness we're talking about today, but it's a good thing to review. It's a good thing to learn. The final idiom that we are going to talk about today, idioms related to sickness, is to take a turn for the worse. Okay? To take a turn for the worse. So let me write here. Okay, sorry, checking in the chat, feeling dizzy. So Dora and some other people are writing some other things here. You have to excuse my my eyes. I can't really see that well, so I have to squint. But yeah, to take a turn for the worse, okay? To take a turn for the worse means to get even sicker, to become sicker than you were before. So we know that, worse is a comparative. So we're comparing something. So if we take a turn for the worse, we're becoming worse. We're becoming sicker. We're saying that we're feeling even worse than before. The opposite of that would be to take a turn for the better. So hopefully when you're talking about idioms related to sickness, you take a turn for the better and you start to feel better, start to feel healthier, you start to feel less sick. But unfortunately, sometimes in the first couple of days, we take a turn for the worse and we feel even sicker. All right. Take a turn for the worse. Take a turn for the worse. Awesome. To get even sicker. Great, everybody. Great. So those are the idioms that we are going to review for today. Eduardo, to take a turn for the better. Eduardo, great job writing what you hear. Great job writing what we're learning. That is a great way to not only remember what you're reviewing, but immediately start using it. So everybody, you have several vocabulary words today. We have idioms that we have reviewed today. And remember that the full English lesson for this video, you're going to be able to watch the replay with notes, with extra questions, and you are going to be able to read that on the blog on Tuesday. Every Tuesday on EnglishOutsideTheBox.com/blog, I post new English lessons. The English lessons are these videos with more details, practice exercises, sentence examples, and explanations. So you can join that lesson, or you can review that lesson on the blog on Tuesday. However, today is Saturday. There's a few days before Tuesday. So I want you to still practice what you've learned in today's lesson today. So I want you to practice writing down the things that you heard. Write down the expressions you heard. Write down the definitions that you heard me say. Practice writing it. Then I want you to create your own sentence example. I've given a lot of sentence examples while I was describing it. I want you to now give your own sentence example related to you. You want to apply the idiom, apply the new language, apply the vocabulary to you. The best way is to write a text. Easily, you could write a text about the last time you were sick. If you write a text about the last time you were sick, you're going to be able to utilize a lot of the vocabulary you heard today. Practice writing it down, please. You're saying please like you're asking me, but you are practicing by writing it down, so that's really great. Ibrahim, it's nice to see you as well. So, yeah, so that's going to be your practice exercise today, okay? That's going to be your practice exercises for today. Write a text about the last time you were sick, and you're going to utilize a lot of vocabulary. I'll take them all down right now. Louise, you want to say, I'll write them all down right now. I'll take them all down is not going to make sense in this context. Let's review what we learned, shall we? First, we talked about some symptoms related to being sick. We talked about a headache. We used the expression splitting headache to mean very bad. Other symptoms include a sore throat, a cough, a sneeze, achoo, a stuffy nose, a runny nose if it's coming out. You can have a sore body, sore achy muscles and a sore body. You can have a headache. You can have a fever or a temperature. You can also have sweats. I didn't mention that, but sweats when your body sweats and releases liquid. Okay. The idioms we talked about today were to be, to look, or to feel under the weather, which means to be, look, or feel not well. To be sick as a dog means to be very, very sick. We have a splitting headache, as we reviewed, a very bad headache. We have to take a turn for the worse, which means to become even sicker than you were before, and to puke one's guts out. To puke one's guts out, which means to vomit a lot. Dora, to take a turn for the worst. No, that's a superlative. We're using the comparative, worse, okay? And Andre Luis Oliveira. Sorry, I should know how to say that name. Oliveira. You missed this class. This live lesson is every Saturday at 7:30 MST, which is 9:30 a.m. in New York. For now, the time is changing in a couple weeks. And 6:30 a.m. PST. So the easiest time, because your time changes, my time changes, all the world's changing, it's best to use one standard universal time to describe the time of this class, which is 14:30 or 2:30 p.m. UTC. You can join this type of class. Every week the theme changes, but this class happens every single Saturday at this same time. So Andre Luis Oliveira, set your alarm for next Saturday. You guys don't want to miss this next lesson. You don't want to miss Saturday's lesson. Yes, you can watch it later, but you don't have the opportunity to ask questions and interact. UTC is the universal time code, I believe. Universal time, it's the universal time. So it's like, you know, Brazil's time, Brasilia time standard, Mountain Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time, GMT, right? So the best, I'm going to write a link here for you guys, www.worldtimebuddy.com. Worldtimebuddy.com is my favorite website to double check time zones. You put in your time zone and then you select, just write UTC, and then you'll pull up the UTC time code and you will see all of the times that are comparing, okay? So you'll type in 14:30 UTC and then match the column with your time zone and you'll see what time it is, okay? That's the best thing that you could do to join the lesson. Eduardo, it's really boring to watch it later. Well, that should not be the case. I am sorry that you feel it's boring. All right, so that's going to be it for today. You have your idioms, you have your vocabulary, and you have your practice exercise. And you have your practice exercises. So you can find this lesson and more. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to not write your answer. Sore throat, S-O-R-E. Throat is T-H-R-O-A-T. Throat. And yes, so you guys have your actions today you have your learning plans today. And if you want to have this lesson and more sent directly to your email inbox, you can sign up for my newsletter, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com/sign up, okay? So if you go to EnglishOutsideTheBox.com/sign up, or you look at my main home page, there's a place that you can put your name and your email. If you sign up for that, I will send you this video, I'll send you lessons, I'll send you idioms, phrasal verbs, and resources to review, and you can learn with me every single week. So those are all the options that you have. Remember, a lot of you come from Instagram, but if you don't know, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook as well and learn even more with me. The last thing I want to share with you today is a live training class that I am doing this Tuesday. So every week I do these lessons at 14:30 UTC on Saturdays. But this Tuesday, I'm also doing another live lesson helping you with grammar, okay? Helping you a little bit with grammar. So if you want to learn about grammar and learn how to better communicate with grammar and improve your speaking skills, you can join me by going to, let me write the link here, bit.ly/, guys, I gotta copy it for you here, sorry. Let me put it here. Okay, we have bit.ly/grammar training live, okay? So if you want to join the live grammar training, if you want the invitation, if you want your goal planner, go to that link, bit.ly/grammar training live, and I'll see you there. So as a quick goodbye, Andre Luis, thank you again. I've talked to you by email, and I'm studying and learning a lot with the emails you send me. I'm very happy to hear that. Annie Souza, Oi Salvador. This is my very first time watching you live. Eduardo, welcome. How exciting to have you. A lot of familiar faces, so welcome back. Thanks for learning with me every week. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Share English outside the box with your friends. Help me teach the world, okay? I'll see you next Saturday. I'll see you this Tuesday. Happy studying. Stay motivated. And I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.